I want to do one more video on this failed border bill to finally put a pin in how unserious Republicans are about this issue, because lots of misinformation is still going around to try and justify Republicans turning down a bill full of their own demands on the border. The first is people saying, oh, it's really just a Ukraine bill trying to direct all the money to foreign adversaries. This is hilarious because it shows me instantly you in no way have read the bill. You're just listening to talking points. $60 billion is indeed slotted for Ukraine, but the bulk of that is to refill US inventories and ammo factories in the US, something that would create multiple American jobs, as well as money to buy arms from US contractors, something that would also further stimulate our economy and create jobs. Stop listening to talking points for your news. Please just read the things you're interested about. I promise you'll be more informed than most people. And this is the same for the aid to Israel and Taiwan as well. The bulk of it stays in America to replenish our own inventory, though I would love if we just left Israel out and instead sent aid to the people they are genociding. Because why are we still defending that? But the right is trying to dishonestly pretend that this $60 billion, as well as the funds for other countries, is all just getting sent to their governments directly, when the truth couldn't be further from the opposite. I mean, it's mostly staying in America. The next lie is acting like the border was actually secure under Trump and that Biden could just snap his fingers and return us there. Let's watch Republican James Lankford, Republican who is very hawkish on immigration, might I add, explain why this is just absolutely false.
Also remind folks, during the Trump administration, we also had days of more than 4,000 people that were illegally crossing the border under the Trump administration in 2019, and they were struggling because there's gaps and loopholes in the law.
This was a major issue that plagued Trump in his presidency, as he was unable to build the wall and the daily border crossings were still high and getting higher before the pandemic, and Trump was actually more likely to release illegal immigrants into the country than Biden. Here is James Lankford describing some misconceptions with the bill, where he really gets into the details of what makes this an absolutely horrendous bill, in my opinion, as it's clear major conservative concessions that they've been asking for decades.
We've got to be able to have something that mandatorily deports everyone rather than actually releases everyone. That's what this does. Some people are thinking that this is somehow like counting 5,000 people in every day and releasing them. That's absurd. We changed the asylum laws. We increased detention beds. We doubled the deportation flights. We add ankle monitors for people that are actually coming through, that do these family groups that come through, so we can track any individual that when we don't have capacity. Right. There's all the things that we build into this to make this a much stronger system. Gaps that are in the law get closed in this structure.
So you're saying even people who have come through and they actually fit the demand and can get in, that counts?
Another argument that you hear that he debunks here is that it just allows 5,000 illegal immigrants a day into the country and then they're released into America. And as he just stated, as a Republican who worked on the bill, who is very hawkish on immigration, that is not at all the case. I want to play one more clip of him talking about the bill and its effects, and then we'll really get into it.
And you're saying if this was in place now, the border would be shut down?
That's correct. The border would be shut down. Not only did the border be shut down today, it had been shut down every single day the last 4 months, and we'd have been turning people around. Instead, actually, people had been released into the country. If this would have been in place 4 months ago, we'd have had 1 million fewer illegal immigrants into our country right now.
Now, again, this bill is not the answer. We shouldn't be turning away immigrants that play such a beneficial and crucial part to our economy just because Biden needs a campaign win. We need to wholly be rejecting this ideology from Republicans, putting more money into asylum judges and asylum cases, cleaning up the system to process work visas faster, and as I always say, stop meddling in other countries' economies, planning coups, time to lift the sanctions. Let's worry about our own country and not trying to play God everywhere else. And that's why this bill was really just a heaping pile of conservative doo-doo. And the only reason I do want to highlight it is to show how unserious Republicans are about this issue. When they're given exactly what they want, it all boils down to strategy for them. If they solve this issue now, they have absolutely nothing to run on, and it's an election year. It's literally that simple. Democrats were willing to not let people in other countries seek asylum in our country before others. That is practically remain in Mexico, just without the name. It's given the president the ability to single-handedly shut down the border if he thinks there's been too many crossings, even rejecting justified and liable asylum claims, just being able to turn them away for nothing. Effectively just turning these seekers into inmates, and hopeful inmates at that. They might not even get that lucky, as they'll have ankle trackers. We're doubling the flights and buses that we have for deportations. This is just about as draconian as Republicans could have asked for. It's as draconian as they've been asking for decades, but it's election year. So they're not willing to play ball. They need something to complain about. They don't value how much immigrants pay into things like Social Security, Medicare, or just taxes in general. And yes, even illegal immigrants. I'm tired of the trolls in my comments who have no understanding of our economy or how immigration, even illegal immigration, massively benefits it. Upwards of 75% of illegal immigrants using ITINs file taxes at every level, federal, state, and local, paying as much as $7 billion a year into Social Security, massively extending the ceiling of how much funding we have on it. But you know, Republicans want to gut Social Security and Medicare anyway, so they don't care about how much they pay into those. They're not going to tell you that they pay into those because it's anything to keep them underfunded and looking inefficient so they can, you know, down the line work on getting rid of them. And it's hilarious because Republicans will say, conservatives in my comments, right-wingers in my comments all the time will say, oh, I'm not anti-immigration, brother. I'm all for legal immigration, but illegal immigrants don't work or pay taxes and they're all criminals. And it's like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're more likely to be a criminal than they are, less likely to work than they are, and you probably pay less taxes than they do. You know who definitely pays less taxes than illegal immigrants? Billionaires. You know who else pays less taxes than illegal immigrants? Millionaires. You know who else pays less taxes than illegal immigrants? Corporations. But you don't see right-wingers complaining about them. You just see them fear-mongering about immigration, even though they pay massively into taxes in these programs, all while not utilizing the services that these taxes fund, like Social Security, for instance. They have a 3% unemployment rate that rivals that of American citizens, all while creating more jobs than they take. And the jobs that they do take are ones that are generally left empty and deemed undesirable. And also, their labor is required in multiple facets of our economy to keep prices as low as they are, like agriculture and food. You would see like a 5 to 6% increase in prices immediately, like off rip. And it would probably have to keep going and going as the years went on if we cut out illegal immigration. That is how much some sectors of our economy wholly just depend on that. And illegal immigrants and legal immigrants both commit crimes at much lower rates than U.S. citizens. Violent crimes, property crimes, crimes as a whole, convictions, any way you want to look at it. Both illegal immigrants and legal immigrants are less likely to commit crimes and do it at a much lower rate than U.S. citizens. Couple that with the fact that fentanyl comes through the border mostly and a majority through legal points of entry and by American citizens. And you can really start to see how immigrants low-key really make up the ideal American citizen, except they vote blue, so Republicans hate them. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.